Parikh Fin Wealth, which is commonly known as tutor platform and online education mode. So this time we go and listen and watch about interest rate and deposits and mutual fund which offer the ROI, return on investment. So let's take a look about this. I'm going to classify to let you more enhanced knowledge about this. Okay, so I'm gonna move in a hurry, so let's take a look. Which could enhance more. Let me use the white one. I think it is more clear about this, right? Okay. So the first one is Jana Small Finance Bank, which offers the highest interest rate. Regarding that, public and private sector undertakings in India, which offer 8.24% per annum. And I would like to request you to browse for more details about in Google for details like DG facilities like opening features and facilities and convertibility options like. So regarding SBI, in case of SBI, most of us open this SBI's public sector undertakings and savings account. The interest rate is occasionally 2.7 to 3.5% per annum. And this one, Jana Small Finance Bank, as I already mentioned about this, which offers in India the highest interest rate. In case of savings account, it offers that 8.25% per annum. Since I already told you about that, to know exactly more details about that, you have to go for Google and Bing, so you can search for more details about the digibank facilities and how to open online account and details like facilities like opening account and features and facilities which offers and convertibility note and options regarding that. Deposit account. I hope that we often heard this FD, RD, and MOD. FD is fixed deposit and RD is recurring deposit, which you can pay monthly and quarterly. So each of you can decide. You can give installment. So MOD is multi-option deposit and MIS is monthly income facilities. It is especially for like salary holders, like employees of state government, central government. In case of SB, this fixed deposit and RD, etc., which accounts to 5 to 6% interest rate. Okay. After this, in the later chapter, we're going to discuss about this Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited, which offer the highest interest rate in lieu of debt deposit accounts, which offers 8.75%. So I hope that we can move on here. This one, Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited. This is, I hope that, let me use black one. NBSC, non-banking, sorry, NBSC, non-banking finance company, or we may call that this is financial institution which is regulated under RBI. RBI is Reserve Bank of India and financial regulator in India. Okay. Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited. Let me write in short form: Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited. Okay. Under this deposit, which I already mentioned about this FD, RD, and MOD. MOD is the full form of multi-option deposit, and RD is recurring deposit, and FD is fixed deposit. Okay, and which accounts that 8.7 8.7% interest rate. This one interest rate, it offers that this is the highest interest rate we've ever known in private sector and public sector banking in India. Okay, and most of these banking like SBI public sector undertakings and ICICI, HDFC, and Syndicate Bank, IndusInd Bank, which offer 5 to 6% interest rate. And we have to remember that in case of this deposit account, it is compounded monthly, and quarterly and yearly. It depends on the investors, like customers. You have a few range of choosing which you like, monthly or quarterly or yearly, and after the maturity period. Okay, maturity period, most of these deposit accounts range between the duration is 5 to 7 years. Then after the maturity period is over, you have the option to take out your principal plus interest, or you have to convert your cash to fixed fixed deposit. So it's up to you. And here is outstanding instruction is there. Outstanding instruction outstanding instruction, which is manually you can make or you can rely on the predetermined, which is issued by the banking authorities. Okay, and under Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited, as I already stated that the interest rate is 7 to 8.75 and which is compounded. Okay, in case of mutual fund, CAGR, compound annual growth rate, which we're going to discuss later on. So before we move on this, let me repeat: Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited and deposits FD, RD, and MOD, and the interest rate is 8.7% interest rate, which is the highest interest rate, depending upon this private and public sector bank undertaking in India, and most of the banking companies or most of the banking like ICICI, SBI, HDFCI, IndusInd Bank, Syndicate Bank, and Bank of India offers 5 to 6% interest rate, and which is compounded monthly, quarterly, yearly, which depends on you. You can choose it. You can freely choose it. And after the maturity period, and the duration is 5 to 7 years, and most of the private and public sector banking offers the range is 3 years also. Okay, we have to remember that. But 5 to 7 years is the duration, long-term duration, and after the maturity period, you have the option to take out the principal plus interest, or we have to convert to the fixed deposit without taking out your principal plus interest. Okay, NISM, which is closely linked with this SEBI. SEBI is different financial regulator, financial regulator in India, like Federal Reserve in US. Okay, so under NISM, We have the option of e-learning. It provides e-learning for most of the investors in mutual fund and stock market. After e-learning, it provides the certificate programming, commodity, warehouse management. Okay, and NISM is established in 2006 by SEBI. SEBI, which is the full form of Securities Exchange Board of India and commonly known as Financial Regulator in India. And NISM is the regulator of regulator of security markets in India. So I would like to add that to become brokerage or like manager, financial manager in case of the mutual fund. So you have to pass through that NISM certificate program. And NISM provides that 6 school of excellence. 6 school of excellence, and let me write here. The number one is that securities in education, and number two is certification of intermediaries. Certification of intermediaries, and the next one, regulatory of supervisors, right? And investor education, and financial literacy. It is really necessary for investor education and financial literacy regarding mutual fund investor and stock market investor, like trading investment. And the next one is corporate governance. I don't think that we need to explain details this corporate governance. And the last one is information and information and research. Information and research. This is the six schools of excellence provided by NISM. And NISM is that the market is dynamic and ever changing. Due to the ongoing procedure of that investor education and research and corporate governance and investor education and financial literacy and regulatory and supervisors, certification of intermediaries and securities in education, and it is ever changing and it is dynamic. Okay. And the next one is finance via for a single role, right? And exposure is needed. Exposure for learners LMS, which enhance that the regulator financial intermediation and learning management system under the guidelines of NISM. It is provided that it is lower cost and effective learning. Lower cost and effective learning. As I already stated that to become a brokerage and like Zeroda, Paytm Money and Grow app. So to become a brokerage, you have to go through that NISM certificate program. There's no Geographical constraints. There's no geographical constraint in case of NISM. So NISM provides that e-learning certificate program, and it is established in 2006 by SEBI and regulatory of security markets in India and six global excellence like securities in education, certification of intermediaries and regulatory of supervisors and investor education and financial literacy and corporate governance and information and research, and it is effective learning and lower costs and LMS learning management system and composite learners, and there's no geographical constraints in case of NISM. So to become a brokerage in the form of like in investment strategies like mutual fund and stock market, Sensex index and all. So if you wanna become a brokerage like Paytm Money, Grow, and Zerodha, which is the number one brokerage in India. So you have to go through that NISM procedure and process and the marketing procedure and all. Okay. Highest potential returns rewatch, or we may call that this one ROI. ROI is return on investment. Return on investment in case of mutual fund investment or stock market investment. Trading and investment is slightly different. Okay, we have to remember that. Okay, let me write in short form highest potential returns. Highest potential returns. If you are investor or if you want to become an investor or a successful investor, so you have to invest on the equity mutual fund. Okay, equity mutual funds. Equity simply implies that capital equity mutual funds, but remember that equity mutual funds is closely linked with that higher risks. Not like that. Conservative investor, like aggressive investor, you have to remember that if you want the high return on investment, so you have to invest in equity mutual funds. But Remember that in case of equity mutual funds, they are closely linked with that risk is high. Okay, if you want moderate income, so you have to go for that mutual funds or money market, money market mutual funds, or invest in bonds or COD, certificate of deposit, or you have to buy NSC, National Saving Certificate, or go for fixed income instruments like, as I already mentioned, the fixed deposit, RD, recurring deposit, or term deposits. Okay, this equity mutual fund involve higher risks. If you want low or moderate risks or lower risks, go for debt mutual funds or money market mutual funds or fixed income instruments like NSC or fixed deposits, recurring deposits or term deposits, so like that. Okay. Best for investment, CFP and cap protection funds. Best for investment. Okay. Actually, there's no best for investment. Murray Asset Large Cap or Axis Blue Chip Fund and Canaro Blue Chip Equity Fund. If you are a new investor, so I would like to suggest you for go for large cap, large cap, large cap like Axis, Axis Mutual Fund, which is Axis Blue Chip, Axis Blue Chip Fund or Murray Asset Large Cap Fund or Canaro Large Cap Fund. Okay. If you invest in large cap funds, so you don't need to worry about this, like loss in capital or loss in volatility or liquidity risks. Liquidity risks. If you are a new investor, so don't go for this small cap fund. Okay, small cap fund. I would like to suggest you. So if you are a new investor and you have to go for this large cap fund and money market mutual fund and debt mutual fund and fixed income instruments like FD, RD, and MOD. So best for investment, you have to go for this capital protection, capital capital protection funds, or in case of capital protection funds, you invest in these. Invest in equity markets, invest in equity markets, invest in equity markets, and as I already stated that fixed income instruments, okay? Like you have to purchase bonds or COD, certificate of deposit, or NSC 8 issue. NSC simply implies that National Savings Certificate and PPF, Public Provident Fund, okay, or FD, RD, or you can open savings account, but you have to remember that the interest rate is very less, like 2.72, 3.5. But remember that Jana Small Finance Bank, which offer that 8 point something or 7 to 8 point something interest rate. Okay. Mutual fund which keeps highest return. Mutual fund which give highest return per month. Okay. Actually, there's no mutual fund which give highest return per month, but there is possibility that Let me write in short form that which gives highest return per month. Okay, you have to go for this equity, equity, equity hybrid debt solution. Okay, this is the safest instrument which could give you that highest return per month. So go for equity hybrid debt solution instead of that money market mutual fund or debt mutual fund or fixed income instrument. In case of mutual fund, there are three types of there are three types of mutual fund. The first one is equity and debt mutual fund and hybrid mutual fund. Needless to say that this large cap, mid cap, and small cap and all and Sensex, this is subcategory. So in case of mutual fund, there are three types of mutual fund: equity, debt, hybrid, large cap, mid cap, small cap, Sensex, and all this is subcategory. So you have to remember that, okay? Fastest growing mutual fund house in India. This is COD. Sorry, COD, Certificate of Deposit. Okay, this is Pinnacle Industries Limited. I'm starting on Holland. So security code is TTS 0, transaction code TTFC, certificate of deposit code TTN, and deposit code PNB and PXPN, and series NDSN number PNSC 1197, and current value, personal value, date of deposit 15 March and 20000, and purpose of deposit and safekeeping, and depositor is investor name and beneficiary is investor name. Okay, fastest growing mutual fund house in India. There are lots of mutual fund house in India like ICICI, Prudential, Axis Mutual Fund, and Canara Mutual Fund, and SBI, and HDFC. There are lots of these So fastest growing mutual fund house in India. This is, according to me, the fastest growing major mutual fund house in India. According to me, is that Parag Parikh Parikh Financial Advisory. Parag Parikh Financial Advisory Services Private Limited Mutual Fund. Okay, so do remember that this is not the actual reasonable return on this. This is according to me that Parikh Financial Advisory Services Private Limited Mutual Funds. Okay, types of mutual fund. Types of mutual fund. Okay, mutual fund. Types of mutual fund. Since I already stated that there are three types of mutual fund. The first one is equity, equity mutual fund, and the second one is debt mutual fund, and third one is hybrid mutual fund. So excluding this money market mutual fund, and the next one is bond mutual fund, and the next one is stock stock mutual fund, and the next one is target debt mutual fund. So needless to say that equity debt hybrid, which I already stated that equity debt hybrid is three types of mutual fund, and money market mutual fund, bond mutual fund, stock mutual fund, and target debt mutual fund. So do remember that money market mutual fund, debt, bond mutual fund, stock market mutual fund, money market mutual fund is closely linked with this debt mutual fund, and there are lower risks. Okay, so in case of this equity mutual fund, higher risks involve and return on investment is high. But in case of money market and debt mutual funds, it is closely linked with that. There are lower risks, but this return on investment is low. Okay, mutual fund best for future. Which mutual fund is best for future? Equity mutual fund is best for future, but it needs that long term investment. Okay, long term investment, at least it requires the duration is at least 5 to 7 years. Best for future mutual fund, which I already stated that the first one is blue chip, exists blue chip fund, okay, which is large cap. Large cap means large capital, and the second one is Mirai asset. This one is large cap fund, and Parag Parikh, and the third one is UTI Flexi Cap Fund. UTI Flexi Cap, which invests in both equity and invest in large cap, mid cap, and small cap, which UTI Flexi Cap Fund, it invests at least 75% in equity. Okay, and Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund. It is calculated based on that CA compound annual growth rate and expense ratio. Okay, expense ratio. expense ratio is the lower expense ratio is the better. Okay. The next one is exists mid gap and Kotak emerging fund. Okay. And exists small cap fund. Small cap fund is for investors like aggressive investor, not for conservative investor. Okay. SBI small cap fund, which is similar with that aggressive investor, not for conservative investor, right? MIP, monthly income plans, monthly income plans. It is based on dividend. It is based on dividend issue. ICICI Prudential monthly income plan and Investico India regular savings. Okay. And the next one is Reliance Hybrid Pro and UTI regular savings. So please do remember that monthly income plans is based on that dividend issue. Okay. So that's all for this time. We have already discussed and watched and learned about the interest rate, SBI, and other. private and public sector bank, savings account, interest rate, and which offer SBI and other public and private sector bank. In case of savings account, which accounts that 2.72, 3.5% per annum, and Jana Small Finance Bank, which offers the highest interest rate in case of savings account and which accounts that 8.25% per annum. And I want you to investigate and research about that this through that Google for more details like Digibank and facilities like operating and features and facilities and convertibility note and options like that. Okay, and SDFCL Shriram Transport Finance Company Limited. And this is for deposits like FD, RD, TD, MOD, and which offers that highest interest rate range between 7 to 8.75%, which is compounded annually, monthly, quarterly, and it depends on you which you have the right to choose that you have really choose based on that. Okay, and we discussed about NISM, about e-learning and certificate programming, commodity warehousing management, and we have already discussed about that established in 2006 by SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, and Regulator of Security Markets in India, and about the 6 schools of excellence like securities in education and certification of intermediaries and regulatory and supervisors and investor education and financial literacy and corporate governance, information research, and which denotes that market is dynamic and ever changing. In case of the scenario of this regime and finance were for single role and learners exposure and LMS learning management system and lower cost and effective learning to become a brokerage like Paytm Money, Grow Up and Zerda. You have to go through the regime certification program and you have to excel in this certification program which provide that regime and lower cost and effective learning and there is no geographical constraints and we have already discussed about that equity mutual funds and which offers that highest possible returns and highest possible returns is equity related mutual funds and which is closely linked with that higher risk and best for investment, capital protection funds, and invest in equity markets and fixed income instruments like RD, FD, MOD, etc., and bonds and certificate of COD, certificate of deposit, and NSC, National Savings Certificate, and savings accounts, which offers lower interest rate and fastest growing major mutual fund house in India, which is according to me that Parikh Financial Advisory Service Private Limited Mutual Fund House and types of mutual funds, money market, bond, stock, and target debt and equity debt and hybrid. And needless to say that large cap, mid cap, Sensex, and small cap, and all that. So the highest return on investment is closely linked with that. The highest risks involved. And if you want to go for that moderate return and moderate risk, so go for that money market mutual fund and then mutual funds and all, okay? And mutual fund best for future is exist blue chip and duration large cap and periphery and UTI flex cap and periphery flex cap exist mid cap and protect margin and exist small cap and SBA small cap. Small cap is not for new investor and not for conservative investor. It is especially for that aggressive investor. Okay, and MIS monthly income plans, ICICI Prudential monthly income plans, in Invesco India regular savings and Reliance hybrid bond and UTI regular savings. So that's all for today, and thank you so much for watching and liking and sharing my channel. So please do continue that. Thank you so much and enjoy your time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.